Good afternoon. Has anyone here been to college? Well, I guess I'm not the only one here. Why do you go to school? That's actually a stupid question. I mean, of course you know why you go to school. Higher salary, better job positions. You think of that when you hear the word college. In fact, in a research done by Pew Research Academy, showing that 86% of students stated that their degree was a good investment because it increased their earning potential. This highlights a strong connection between higher education and perceived financial benefits. Yeah, I think the students actually are pretty clear why they're attending college. So the true question is, have you ever thought about what school actually gave you or should have given you? Which I believe not a lot of people have thought about. Did it give you more than you want? Or did it fail to meet your expectations? And how do we make them better? To analyze this problem, I want to look at it through three aspects. The first one is, what does society want from education? Educated people can substantially contribute to their families and society, earning 10% more in developing countries. These earnings, in turn, help to drive national economic growth. Good education can decrease inequality. With equal opportunities provided to anyone, someone born in a family whose parents are workers can grow up to be a doctor, an engineer, or anyone they want, benefiting the family and the country at the same time. This also creates more harmony. Civilized people have more respect for each other, and equality erases conflict between different social classes. And this is exactly why our country, China, implements a 9-year compulsory education and stresses three principles: forced, free, and popularization. These three basic principles help to make sure three problems that China faces. The first one makes sure that children are not forced to go to work even before trying education. The second one makes sure that every family that has the will to get their students education can do so. And the third is to make sure that even in the most remote mountains of China, I'm sorry, it doesn't have to be mountains to be remote, everyone knows that they can and need to get this education. This has made huge impacts. With only 20% of students receiving education at the beginning of China, now there's 99% of kids in elementary school and 98% in middle school. This policy of China has proven to be successful. But we all know that something this good has backfires in some degree. Well, this does bring more people the opportunity to change their lives, but it also puts more people on the same bridge, which makes it super crowded, resulting in severe stress on students that might lead to mental illnesses that are not usually taken good care of. Not to say that our beloved country really hasn't done a good job building our students' character. The greatest example is that a math teacher can take a PE teacher's class, but a PE teacher can't do the same back. And all this is because that sometimes society values advancement over students' will. But I believe education is a bidirectional process. So let's look at our second question. What do students want from education? I asked Google this question, and the answer I got was all the same. 80% of students want better jobs, 79% want higher job positions. So instead, I asked myself, what do I want from education? Yeah, of course I could say I want the money, I want better jobs, but as a teenager, I would love to learn new things about the world, and through a happy process. Schools offer that, but not every school offers the right amount. When I was in middle school, there are people that can make joy no matter what the environment is. But these students actually tend to succeed in every field. But not everyone can do that. Some people are naturally dependent on the environment and needs guidance, not just put straight into a tough environment to compete with their peers. This guidance can be provided by your parents, or you're just born a very strong individual. But when these two paths are blocked, I think school should take on the role of doing so. And only in this way, everyone can become who they're destined to be, and the world will go where it's destined to go. And that leads us to the third question. What do schools want from you? From a financial perspective, schools, particularly higher education institutions, seek students who can provide significantly through tuition and fees, which are crucial for sustaining the operations, funding state-of-the-art facilities, and attracting top faculty. The rising cost of higher education is driven by the demand for mass amenities, increased administrative expenses, and shrinking public funding, particularly in the US. As universities compete for prestige, They invest heavily in infrastructure and services, passing these costs on the students. This is completely unnecessary because in the end, what are we competing for? Society wants people who can provide economic growth. Students want a better life. But the extreme cost of attending college is the top reason preventing students from getting the education they need to provide growth for the country. And students who actually do finish college struggle to pay off their debt, which neither fulfill the society's want nor the students' want. And this is only getting more and more severe, making education subjected to the elites. As a student who has experienced both Chinese and Western education, I think both of them are not perfect. Chinese education gets students ahead in life and learn fast, but the intensity started at such a young age that it is really painful. During the 2 years that I studied at an international school in Manila, it was fun. I met all types of people and got the chance to try different things. But to be honest, I felt a little bit stupid when doing the math questions they offered because we really learned that in kindergarten. And not to say the tuition fee is 10 times higher. I enjoy being at school, but in my eyes, true education should be both fun and character building. And that is my answer to the third question. Through all these three aspects, the first problem is the stress that's taken over modern students' lives. I know a 12-year-old taking a TOEFL test, and when I asked him why, my father told me to is the only answer he could give me. And he got higher than me on the TOEFL test. That might be impressive, but to me, I don't think that is healthy. The second problem is the competition between schools. You might think that that is not a problem and it drives the schools to become better, but that is really just one side. With competition, nonprofit-driven schools can ask students hundreds of thousands of dollars as tuition fee, which basically excludes most students. Without a clear life purpose, the students created in the system today are no longer risk takers, world changers, nor help givers. But instead, they're just hoping to get a stable job. And I want to change that, not to brag. But how could a 16-year-old do that? Well, through education, we all hope. Thank you.